Hey, what's up? Like, totally time for 90210.
Well, hello, everyone. Welcome back to the 90210 show. My name is Mark. With me, as always, is my wife, Carol. How you doing today, Carol?
Hey, what's up?
Not much. It's been a good week here. It is May. I almost said April. It's May 20th, 1999.
It is.
We're so much closer to your birthday.
Yay. I don't care.
Okay.
I have to work on my birthday, and I have to work on Memorial Day.
We usually make such a big deal of your birthday.
Yeah. But, this isn't a big deal birthday anyway.
No.
So that's all right.
22 or a different age.
20. I don't know. Yeah, whatever.
9.
I was going to say that, but yeah.
Or a different age. Anyway, so speaking of different ages, we went to a different age of a few months ago and watched an episode of 90210 from season 9. And
I don't know. I think Luke Perry being back just makes the show that much better.
It does. This episode was actually pretty interesting.
And only partially because of him, really. He had a smaller part, but it's just ever since he came back, the show's gotten better.
It does enhance, there's I don't know, there's more. I wonder how much money they paid him.
He's definitely done them a service.
Like, they really were desperate after, what's her name? Kelly Malone, or whatever the fuck her name was? Valerie Malone?
Yeah, Valerie Malone.
Kelly Kapowski.
Yeah,
decided to leave, and Brandon decided to leave.
Yeah, that sucks. But, okay, so there's, the two main storylines, and then we've got bullshit going on.
Yeah, the horrible comic C-plot.
Why are they doing this?
I don't know.
The show didn't used to do this, and it shouldn't do this, and I don't know when it started or why, but it needs to fucking stop.
Do you know why? Because they couldn't figure out what to do with these characters. Because they are trying to balance all the characters in the episode. They're like, well, we have to... I don't know if it's in their contracts or what, or if it's just the producer's sensibilities or whatever, but they're like, look, we need to give roughly equal screen time to everybody. And they come up with this main storyline, and they come up with a secondary storyline. And they're like, what do we do with these goofballs? And they were like, you know how bad they are at acting comedy? Give them that.
Oh, it's ridiculous.
It's so painful to watch. Ian Ziering's not bad, but he's not great either at acting comedy. But Tori Spelling,
she's terrible,
is just awful at doing comedy. And the dude that plays Noah is not much better.
No, they're all not good. So, they start out the episode playing strip poker.
Yeah, why? Why are they playing strip poker?
They're all, in relationships together.
These people are way too close to each other.
Yeah.
Because, as you pointed out, it's Janet, it's Kelly, it's Donna, it's Noah, it's David, and Ian Ziering. Mm-hmm. It's just the actor Ian Ziering.
Steve, yeah.
He's not Steve anymore. And they're all playing strip poker together, and 2 of those 3 women have seen Steve's dick.
Yeah, he gets all the way down to naked, and Kelly gasps and covers her face, and it's but you've seen it.
Yeah, I mean,
you've had it.
It was years ago, but yeah.
This isn't new terrain for you,
right? But they keep closing up on Noah and his fucking glasses.
They were stupid glasses,
and I was thinking to myself, he never wore those glasses before. That's dumb. What are those glasses? And I was thinking to myself, is he just wearing extra articles of clothing? Is that what it is? I didn't get it at first. But it turns out Donna and fucking Steve and I think not Brandon, David, the next day discover the glasses.
Is David really part of this? Because he's not part of the revenge in any way.
No, he doesn't fucking care.
Okay.
But he didn't have to take off all his clothes either.
No. Yeah, Donna got all the way down to her G-string.
That's what he says. So, Donna's boobs were out.
Why would Noah want these other dudes to see his woman's boobs?
I don't know.
That's kind of weird.
Maybe he's a freak like that.
Maybe.
But who knows, like, what various levels of undress everyone else got into.
Right.
He didn't have to get undressed because turns out these glasses, they're not X-ray glasses. I thought they were going to go full ridiculous and be like, he can see through the cards. The cards are marked, and he wears the glasses to be able to see the markings.
Yeah, so he knew what everybody had.
Have you ever played strip poker before?
Yes.
Okay.
I had to stop and think about it.
Did you lose?
I mean, I took off some things. I didn't get all the way naked.
No.
No. How about you?
Did you have to get down to your G-string?
No.
Okay.
How about you?
Yeah, I've played strip poker.
And how naked did you get?
Well, how good am I at poker?
Very.
So I didn't have to... the ladies got naked. But I didn't have to cheat to do it like Noah.
Okay.
But how do you play strip poker?
What do you mean, how do you play? You play poker, and when you lose, you have to take off a piece of clothing.
Right. So, like, there's no, like, folding necessarily. Like, you just, like, if you lose the hand, you're not betting articles of clothing.
Right.
You're just like, oh, I lost, so I have to take off something, right?
Mm-hmm.
So how do marked cards help Noah? Just because he knows what everyone else has, how does that, like, did he...
That's a very good point, Mark.
Did he stack the deck? Like, I don't understand how, because they specifically say, oh, you got all the good hands.
Uh-huh.
But a marked deck doesn't help with that unless he's stacking the deck at the same time.
Huh. Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow.
And if he
you
is...
really overthink some shit.
And if he is stacking the deck, that means that he specifically got Donna naked and Steve. So what the fuck is his
Does
problem?
he want to watch them?
Yeah, I don't know. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
But anyway, so they decide they're going to get revenge on him by changing the pressure on the CO2
This is so stupid.
for the soda so that it goes out slightly more powerfully than usual
And they
until
don't-
it get wet.
And they don't even do it on the current tank. They do it on the replacement tank. So then they spend the whole night just ordering sodas, trying to get him to switch over to the new one so that he'll wet himself.
So they enrich his business
Right.
by spending money on a bunch of sodas.
So they can laugh at his wet t-shirt. Okay. Who gives a shit?
Well, apparently he gives a shit
Right.
because his next whatever revenge plot
Prank, yeah.
is to replace Steve's shampoo with like some sort of peroxide thing or something.
Green hair dye.
Yeah, okay, but it turns his hair green.
Yeah.
He looks like the Joker.
It's ridiculous. Ridiculous.
And so Steve decides to get revenge on him by releasing a rat into his club when the health inspector is scheduled to appear.
This-
like one rat's going to be anything.
Is so dumb. I mean, first of all, like Noah said, don't fuck with my business. Like, that's not okay.
Yeah.
And agreed. But then the health inspector
Yeah.
drops dead of a heart attack,
Upon seeing a rat, how weak of a heart would you have to have?
right? And, like, they fucking put him in a freezer to hide him from the real health inspector.
Well, yeah.
Like, that's so tell him. Say, hey, this guy just died.
Yeah.
Why would you put him in a freezer? You think that's going to go over better than a guy having a heart attack that you had nothing to do with?
Just start playing Mr. Mister.
What do you mean?
Bye. I just died in your arms tonight.
Right.
But yeah, so instead they shove him in a freezer, and apparently it's a freezer that's going to salvage, because when they come to retrieve the body, they called paramedics. When they come to retrieve the body, it's gone. And Nat's like, oh yeah, salvage took it.
So they go all the way to the salvage yard after this thing. Now, at this point, if it were me, first of all, it never would have happened. But if it did, I would call the police.
Yeah.
And say, hey, this guy had a heart attack. We put his body in a freezer, and it's on its way to salvage. Help us.
Now, spoiler alert, everybody. It turns out, as you may have suspected, that this is an elaborate prank. And Carol correctly predicts who the pranky is. I thought it was going to be Donna, teaching them a lesson, the two boys a lesson, saying like, stop pranking each other. This is fucking stupid. But I forgot one key piece of evidence.
What's that?
Of information that I don't know if you remembered or not, but after we find out that it was indeed Noah, as you predicted, that pulled the prank, Noah's the one that checked the body and was like, he's dead. There's nothing. So it had to be him.
Well, and he seemed calm when everybody else was freaking out.
So it's a prank. The guy's acting is terrible. The fake health inspector's acting is terrible of having a heart attack. They go and tell his wife, and his wife faints dead away. Also horrible acting. And they just run, Donna and Steve, because they're like, we have to tell his wife and everything. Here's the thing. Noah had to employ so many people.
He's a millionaire.
But I know, but I mean, it's just fucked up that so many people went along with this.
Oh, agreed.
Prank. The guy's wife, the guy was going to do a prank with Steve anyway, so I guess whatever. But like the guy's wife decided to go along with it. The guy at the fucking salvage yard had to have gone along with it. I don't know if but I guess the paramedics, they just wasted fucking paramedics' time, which is not great.
Yeah.
But as you pointed out, this could have gone wrong for Noah in so many ways. At any point, Donna could have been like, we have to call the fucking police.
Yeah.
And she could have called the police to investigate this body.
Yeah. Ridiculous.
So, but that doesn't happen. And in the end, the guy just shows up at the After Dark with his wife. And it's like, oh,
and Nat.
Surprise.
Nat knew about it too.
Nat was in on it too. But yeah, like, it's fucked up because he's like, what the fuck? You were supposed to pull a prank with me, Steve says to the guy. And he's like, yeah, well, when I called you back to arrange the details, Noah answered. He offered to double the price to play a prank on you, and so I took it. And it's like, why did he need to get revenge? He's the one that fucked up Steve's hair.
Right?
So it's like, yeah, it seems overkill. So instead, they ask for soda, and he gets his shirt all wet again because that's the only prank that they can do successfully, I guess. Yeah. He gets them naked and then also makes them think they killed someone and ruins Steve's hair, but they can get some soda on his shirt.
How dare they? Yeah, it's dumb. Oh.
And the acting is horrible. Yeah. I mean, it's like, I can't overstate enough how it's like, oh my God, what do we do? Blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. Like, it's like a bad sitcom, or not even. The episode could have been like, I don't know, like 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. Because they didn't need any of this shit.
It takes up a lot. Like I said, it has to just be an equal time thing. It takes up a lot of time. Yeah. It's dumb. It's there's no point to it.
And then, like, we also have one other shorter storyline.
Sure.
David.
Oh, yeah. This is weird.
In the Peach Pit, starts talking to some girl.
Yeah.
I don't remember what they were talking about. Like, a movie or something?
They were talking. So let me explain what the girl looks like.
Okay.
A baseball and a stick. Did you notice how tall or how big her fucking head was?
Yeah, she didn't seem very attractive.
No, like and her teeth were terrible. But she had a very large head for her small body. It was really weird. But he's hitting on her because he's like, oh, you reading? She was like crying or whatever. And he decides to start talking to her. Like,
apparently that's a turn on for him.
I guess. What a time to pick up women when they're crying in public.
Right.
And he's like, oh, what's wrong? Or whatever. And she's like, oh, I'm just reading this book. And he's like, a galley copy? You must be a publisher. And she's like, no, I work in, what did she say? Marketing or something like that? Or no, talent discovery for a movie studio.
Yeah, so she's reading unpublished scripts to see, or novels to see if they could turn them into scripts.
Yeah, like that's what she says. And this is some unpublished book, and she was like, it's about this fucking guy that like is waiting for this woman or whatever. And anyway, he's like, it reminds me of this great movie, Cinema Paradiso. And she's like, I know, that's one of my favorite movies. And they start bonding over this movie. And he's like, well, it's playing somewhere. Why don't we, watch it and then do hand stuff later? And she's like, okay, I live right around the corner from this place. Here's my phone number. And I was thinking, like, the whole time I'm thinking, like, is she homeless? What the fuck? Like,
Yeah.
Well, it's a weird thing to just be like, I'll meet you there. I live right by the theater that you're talking about. Like, I don't know. Everything just seemed really weird.
It was. The whole interaction is weird. The fact he likes her is weird. The date's weird. It's all weird.
Well, she doesn't show up for the date. He tries to call the phone number, and she's not there.
Yeah. Wrong number.
Not the right number. Her name is Carol, by the way. I think it's a
Just like me.
disservice to you.
Thanks.
But anyway, so she comes to the Peach Pit after dark.
Yeah, she goes into his little DJ booth. Women walking in there is never good for him.
No, and it happens all the time.
Yeah.
But at one point, one of them's going to have a knife. But she's like, oh, hey, I'm so sorry. And he's like, let me guess, something crazy came up. Yeah, my mom got in a car accident. And he's like, yeah, well, did that happen before or after you gave me a fake fucking phone number? He's like, look, I wrote it down. 555. And she's like, no one's number is 555. What are you talking about? No. But apparently he transposed the last two numbers.
Yeah, so I mean, he was a little confident going in, with the hostility there for when she showed up. Like, I would have listened to what she had to say at that point.
Yeah, it's weird that if she was going to blow you off, that she then shows up.
And like she said, her mom got in a car accident. Ask her if her mom's okay.
Yeah,
He didn't do that.
he did after he found out that she's like, no, this is my fucking phone number.
It doesn't matter. He still should have asked first.
But he does afterward, and she's like, yeah, well, actually, she's not doing good. But she's in Chicago, and I'm going to go see her or whatever. And he's like, oh, my God, you're leaving me. And she's just like in the book, and she's like, yeah, sorry. She's like, but I brought you this book. Read it. It's good. They passed on it because they said it doesn't have a happy enough ending, which I guess is like their situation. So
I feel like we'll see her again.
I think she's a mental patient.
Okay.
That's what I think. I think she wrote the book, and she's a mental patient, and she's acting out that scenario.
Interesting.
And I think that she does that with guys all the time. She just acts out that scenario, the one in the book, and then makes up an excuse about how she has to leave.
That's fucked up.
Yep, I think that's what she's doing.
So I think she's normal, and we'll see her again.
Well, we'll see. If we never see her again, then my theory's true.
So, other storyline is Dylan.
There's two.
Oh, there's a bigger storyline.
Yeah. But the medium storyline is Dylan.
And okay, so he's working doing his community service.
Yeah.
I don't even understand exactly what it is they're doing.
They're building a fence around a cliffside to prevent landslides landslides, mudslides or whatever, out onto the road, because there's a road below them. I don't know if it's supposed to be the PCH, the Pacific Coast Highway, or if it's supposed to be another big roadway or highway, but there's a roadway by the beach by them. And they're they do this, they have this in California. They're stringing up fence so that if there is a mudslide, then the rocks and the debris and stuff like that will be caught by the fence and won't go down into the road. Okay. To be a hazard.
And their boss is a complete jackass. Mm-hmm. He's very racist and he's not nice to anybody.
No, he keeps calling the Mexican guy whose name is Ramon Luis.
Luis Jose.
Jose, yeah, he's fucking just whatever.
Yeah, and then Dylan has way too much of an attitude though. You're doing community service. The guy's like, I have 3 rules. The first rule is you're all, punks who broke the law. That's not a rule.
Yeah, the first rule is not a rule. It's just your description of the people.
The second rule is that you all listen to me and do whatever I say.
And the third rule is if you don't, then you'll go to jail.
Right. So he is obviously a fucked up ass.
It's not the first time I've heard that people that run these community service things are assholes, though.
Sure. Well,
and obviously not everyone, not every community service organizer or whatever. But
don't write us. Be like, hey.
But I've heard a couple instances of people being like this.
So his Mexican friend points out that this one I don't know, cliff or whatever is
Yeah.
going to fall
Yeah.
if they keep digging at it. Because he has them digging at it for some reason.
I think they're digging for the fence. I'm not sure exactly. But he's like, we should put up netting because they have a bunch of protective netting. We should put up netting so that we don't have a slide.
And he's just like, fuck you, get back to work.
Yeah, you don't know anything, you fucking immigrant. I'll take you back to Mexico where you belong, he says.
Oh my gosh, yeah. And then the stones start falling and almost hit him.
Mm-hmm.
And Dylan's like...
Dylan saves his life. He pushes him out of the
Yeah.
way.
And the guy's like, I told you to, reinforce that or whatever. And
Dylan's like, no, he told you, you fucking liar.
Dylan ends up punching this man in the face.
Yeah. Which you would think, according to his rules.
It would mean prison.
But it doesn't. It means just an extra week of community service. It's fucked up.
Yeah.
But the Mexican guy, what's his name again?
I don't know.
It's not Raphael. But it starts with an R.
Yeah,
Ramon.
he called him too many.
Ramon.
Okay.
Ramon's like, I told you, you fucking asshole. Like, I just want to do my 80 hours and get out. You're a piece of shit. Why did you do this?
Yeah, because he assumes he's going to be in trouble too, which doesn't make sense.
No, because he didn't do anything.
Yeah.
But he's like, Dylan's like, oh my god, you got a kid, you got family, and you got a wife. Why'd you get picked up with drugs like me? And he's like, no, I fell asleep after working my third job for the day, trying to support my family, and I hit a parked car. No one was hurt.
Yeah.
But they got me for reckless driving. And he's like, oh, okay. And so it's like he's like a fucking saint or whatever.
Right.
And he's also going to night school at the same time, trying to like do better for himself or whatever. So Dylan goes up to the warden guy or whatever, and he's like, hey, let me tell you something. Don't punish him, just punish me. And he's like, I'll tell you what, fucking McKay, you're a piece of shit or whatever. And he's like, yeah, we're both pieces of shit. We're not, this guy's better than us. He's better than the guys like you and me. So just treat him better or whatever. And apparently that fixes racism. Because like later the guy's like, oh, I'm still just doing my 80 hours and stuff like that. And he's treating me a lot better now and everything. And it's like, yeah, okay, I guess he's just not racist anymore.
Yeah,
because
stupid.
Dylan said that the Mexican guy was better than him. That's not the racist's biggest fear.
Right?
It's such a weird situation.
Yeah. So yeah, that's fucked.
He also is going through. Dylan also has a bit of a storyline with Gina.
Yeah, because he has a female sponsor for some reason, which is stupid. Like, they're not supposed to do that. They're supposed to have male sponsors for males and female sponsors for females.
Yeah. And also, she just comes up to Gina and she's like, I'm his sponsor from Narcotics Anonymous. And you had the best line. You're like, how anonymous of you. So she's just telling everyone.
Well, yeah, she comes up to them in the After Dark. Why is he or her there? This is a fucking nightclub with alcohol. Y'all shouldn't be there.
Good question.
Just like when they were playing strip poker, everybody was drinking. Mm-hmm. Like all these.
Well, Dylan wasn't there for that, but.
Oh, but Noah was, and Noah's also an alcoholic.
That's true.
So I'm just saying, like all these people. David's supposed to be, a recovering addict. Like Kelly's supposed to be a recovering addict. All these people.
They've all been addicts at one point or another.
And they all drink.
Donna was too.
Yeah.
Donna was on pills.
Yep, you're right. So, yeah, makes no sense.
Everyone but Steve.
Yeah.
And Steve was smoking pot a bunch or whatever.
Yeah, the one episode.
Yeah, he was gonna do other drugs, but then that guy died.
Kind of
in the After Dark.
Yeah. So, oh no, my mind did the thing.
Oh no,
Where
it's
it
okay.
goes blank.
It's okay. I know where we're at.
Okay.
So he has a female sponsor who's apparently good looking. I mean, she seems fine.
Yeah, she's not. Yeah, Gina's like, she's like the top model or something.
Gina, you look better.
Gina's way hotter than her. Yeah.
But Gina's all like, oh, fuck. Like, I hate this or whatever. And it's like, she doesn't trust him and she's worried about it or whatever. She has a conversation with David and David's like, look, you got to take his lead on this. Like, if you want to make this work, this is who he is or whatever.
Mm-hmm, this is his recovery.
Like, he's not going to fuck around on you or whatever. And then the day he punches the dude, he comes back, he's all dirty and shit like that. and she's like kissing him and making out with him.
Lit candles through a bath.
Yeah, she's not dressed sexy necessarily, but she looks good.
She always looks good. No
and
matter.
She's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna like take off your clothes and you don't have to talk. She's like, you had a bad day, and he's like, yeah. She's like, well, it's important for you to know that you never have to talk to me or whatever. And he's like, okay. And she's
trying to be every guy's wet dream here.
And she's like, I'm just gonna take off your clothes and get you in a bath and put you to bed. And he's like, that's it? And she's like, well, I know you're too tired for anything else. And they're making out and shit. And he's like, oh, I can rally. So they have sex.
Obviously. And he gets clean.
Yeah. And they're in the bed, and his sponsor calls. Because I think he called her.
Probably. He had a bad day.
Yeah, because she says something, like, it's not, the way the conversation goes, it sounds like she's getting back to him. And he's like, hey, can you leave for a minute? Whatever.
Yeah, can you give us a minute, Gina? They're laying in bed. He's getting ready to go to sleep, and he should have at least gotten up and left the room to take the call.
Yeah. It is fucked up. She's pissed off, though. She's like, fuck you, or whatever.
Yeah, she literally says that when she's leaving.
I think she's a screw you, because it's, TV,
yeah.
but... And so he's like talking to her, and he's the sponsor, and he's like, yeah, I had a really bad day, and I felt like using and everything, and he kind of explains it to her or whatever, and he's like, oh yeah, that makes sense. And then they have a conversation or whatever, and it fades to black. But so the next day or whatever, a couple days later, he comes over, and she's like, look, he's like, hey, can we have some understanding or whatever? And she like slaps him. She's like, oh, that's as understanding as I get. And he's like, why don't we do the thing where we talk to each other, and then if you hate what you hear, you can still slap me or whatever. And she's like, okay. And then like he tells her about his recovery and stuff. Mm-hmm. And she's like, oh, I understand. I can be here to help you and whatever. And like she gives him a hug and everything, and it's like everything's okay. But like that wasn't your problem, Gina.
Yeah.
Your problem was you were jealous of this woman.
Right.
Like, so I don't get it.
I mean, the woman's, I guess, part of the recovery, but again, that doesn't make sense either. Do your fucking research, writers.
Right. But yeah, so that's, I guess, resolved for now. They're okay now.
Yeah. And then the final storyline.
The final storyline
is Kelly.
Yeah.
And Matt.
And
his ex-wife.
Laura?
Or his wife. His current wife.
His current wife.
The woman who he was talking to at the end of the last episode.
Yeah.
Turns out
we should reveal the title of this episode is I'm Married.
Right. Turns out that they are married to each other. That like years ago, because he had not finished law school yet.
Correct.
His wife had some kind of breakdown with schizophrenia.
She's schizophrenic.
Right. But like to the point that she was put into an institute and barely remembers anything and was so out of it. And she's like, and it's like I woke up. They put me on clozapine and...
Yeah. Every time he says it sounds like he's saying closet peeing. And I don't think that's how you pronounce it.
I don't think...
I think
that's how you pronounce it either.
I think it's clozapine.
Whatever. I don't think so. I think it's...
Clozapine?
Clozapine. Not closet peeing.
But that's what it sounds like. Is like they're like, oh, we didn't know what a miracle drug closet peeing would be. And I'm like, what the fuck is closet peeing? Like, the first time he said it, I was like, no, I misheard that. And then he says it several scenes later, and I'm like, no, it definitely sounds like he's saying closet peeing.
Right.
And then he says it a third time, and I was like, oh, okay, it's a drug. And then you were somewhat familiar with it.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I'm just aware of it. But
clozapine.
So she's like, oh, it's a miracle. It's like I woke up, I'm myself again. Mm. And she's like, so I'm sure you want me to come live with you in L.A.
This is not going to end well, by the way. She's going to lose her mind again.
I'm sure. I mean, I'm glad she's doing well right now, but it's not like, you take your medicine and your schizophrenia never affects you again.
Yeah, longtime fans of the show will know that I have a relative that's schizophrenic.
Right.
And I've seen some things. But anyway, so, yeah, she comes there. He's putting her up at the Bellage Hotel. She's like, you don't even want me to... Yeah, as you point out, this is like kind of probably why he doesn't have a lot of money, because he's paying for this fucking institution.
Right.
she's like, you don't want me to be seen with me or whatever. He looks like you're hiding me. And he's like, no, I have roommates and they all have girlfriends. It's like a fucking frat house. It really is over there too. He's like, I want us to be alone, be able to rekindle stuff or whatever. And he's totally honest with her. Like, I was like, oh yeah, so his wife went crazy. He decided he's not going to divorce her. He just puts her in an institute so he can bang other chicks. But he is totally honest with her. She's like, do you have a girlfriend or whatever? And he's like, yeah, I don't.
Yeah.
And he tells her about her and everything, but he's not being honest with Kelly.
No. Like, what is that about? Like, why doesn't he just tell her? I don't get it. But yeah, so his wife is...
I'm married, bitch.
His wife is very concerned. Like, you can tell she's not happy about it, even though she's trying to act like she's okay with it, that he has a girlfriend. He tells her that her name's Kelly, that he cares about her a lot, like all this stuff. But he keeps acting like he's with the wife.
And he's kissing her and stuff like that.
Yeah, kissing her, going out in public, kissing her.
Probably going down on her.
Probably, yeah, they probably were sleeping together in the hotel.
Yeah.
So, kind of messed up. And Kelly's like, you've been weird, you've been distant, what's going on? He's like, oh, nothing, everything's fine. Mm-hmm. What is your plan here?
Yeah, he can't have his cake and eat her too.
But yeah, he definitely wants to have them both.
Yeah.
And Kelly makes plans for them to go away together for the weekend. Mm-hmm. And then he blows her off and spends the night at the hotel with his wife.
Yeah.
Like, if you're going to really try to do this, you got to do better.
Well, here's the thing. If you want to try to rekindle things with your wife, then you need to cut this girlfriend out. I mean, you guys have known each other for like a month.
Right.
You know, and you need to go all in with your wife. Or if too much time has passed and like whatever, then you should have been like, hey, look, we need to get divorced. Like,
yeah.
You know, I've moved on. I'm sorry. I have a different life now. I can't even imagine us being together anymore.
I mean, his wife's pretty, like, cool about things, too. She's like, I already ruined your life once. I don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
Like, if you're happy with your life, I want you to keep living it.
Exactly.
So she's like, if you miss me, I want to be with you. But if not, it's okay.
Yeah.
And I think he really didn't miss her.
No.
That's the impression that I get, is that he really does want to keep living his life.
It's the impression that you get.
But I think he feels guilty.
That's what it is. It's 100% guilt. He feels like, I think he likes Kelly more. He wants to be with Kelly, but he feels guilty because he married this woman, and he feels like if he breaks up with her, that like she might go off the edge mentally again, and he doesn't want to be responsible for that.
Right.
So I think that's 100% what it is.
But it's not going to matter anymore because Kelly shows up at his apartment.
Yeah.
And the wife's there.
His law office, actually.
Oh, and he just introduces the two of them.
Yeah. Well, she's like, Kelly doesn't see her. So Kelly hears that there's somebody else.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Because Gina sees them out in public. And so Gina tells her about it. And she's like, you fucking bastard. I can't even believe, like, you know, you got a little girlfriend or whatever? And he's like, no, she's not my girlfriend. And she's like, I don't even want to fucking hear about it. And she leaves or whatever. And then later she comes to his law office and she's like, I don't understand. Like, didn't we have this? Didn't we have that? You know? Mm-hmm. And she's like, didn't we almost have it all? Just like Bogey and Bacall.
Right.
That's from Key Largo.
Didn't we almost have it all? Mm-hmm. Is that the song?
I think so.
Okay,
I don't know.
anyway.
But anyway, so it's about, that might be a different song that you're singing, but anyway, so she's like, they describe all the different things that they love about each other or whatever. And he's like, yeah, what we had was great, you know. And she's like, was? Like, you know, is this little girlfriend or whatever? It's like so great or whatever. What's so great about her? Fuck her. What's her name even? And then she appears
Right.
like, from the other side of the door. And he's like, yeah, her name's Laura. And she's not my girlfriend. This is my wife.
Yeah.
And that's where we end the episode.
Ridiculous. Like, he should have handled this so much better.
Yeah. So it's like, what the fuck's going to happen now?
Well, I
Threesome!
that would be his dream.
Yeah.
I think you're right, though. I think the wife's going to have mental problems again, and he'll send her back where she came from.
Yeah.
And then Kelly's going to be like, you're going to have to divorce her if you want to be with me.
And then he's going to divorce her and burn down the institute or whatever.
Right?
She's dead. No, she'll kill her.
Insurance money.
She'll kill herself or something.
Oh, God. I hope not. Seems a little dark for now, to know.
Yeah, it does, really.
I mean, you know, then again, we did have...
She'll kill herself with kindness.
Right. We did have the, child molester, suicide, murder, so.
Yeah, the one David's friend who killed himself with a gun.
So, not out of the realm.
Birthday party or whatever.
For sure.
But yeah, so that is the episode, Carol.
It is. We'll have to see what happens next week.
Tell people where they can find people who are married that want to bang other women.
Okay. Write us at latefee1994.
But not us.
At AOL.com. Check out our website at www.retrolatefee.com. And share the tapes with your friends.
All right, see you next time. Bye.
Bye.